if you go back to when Florida won 4 national titles in the span of 3 years, 2 in football, 2 in basketball in the span from 06 to 09, what did Florida do with all the money? What did Florida do with all the publicity that came with that? Because right after Florida got Muschamp, they went. They didn't do that well. 11 was first year they didn't do good. 12 you did pretty good because you had Sharif Floyd, Dominique Easley, Matt Elam, Jeff Driscoll, and you were still riding from that Urban Meyer wave a little bit, and then it went down to the tank. You get McElwain. You went to SEC East titles, but the team was really never competitive against Alabama before he then got let go. But recruiting, the thing 10 years ago was the indoor practice facility. That was what everybody had. And Florida didn't get there until 2014. And then you look around, well, Georgia and Alabama, they're getting all these brand new facilities. And their brand new facilities that they got from 2-3 years ago are getting things done to them that are already old technology and getting new technology in. And that's Epsom salt baths. That's for recovery. That's for rehab. That's for you to do all these things for your body to recover that Florida doesn't have. Something I saw a stat that said of the 65 Power 5 programs, I think it said like 60 of them have a football-only facility, and Florida's not one of them. That's insane. Now, you could go off the premise and you could say, well, Urban Meyer didn't need that. Steve Spurrier didn't need that. You live in a different day and age today. Your coach today has to be on social media. Nick Saban's an exception. He's different. He's in his own category. You have to be using social media. You have to be interacting with these guys. You have to have all these facilities to compete and keep up with the Joneses. You have to spend money on recruiting. Georgia and Alabama spend $3 million each on recruiting. Florida spends $1 million. And you just have to have things that you can give to these recruits. And another thing, if you want to go back to old school, in the 90s, Florida only had to worry about Florida State, Miami, and State. And that was it. And those guys were at the top in the 90s, if you remember. Now, I mean, your average 2-3 star in the state of Florida would go walk on at Florida State, and Miami, and you can develop those guys in your program, and then they would be really good. Like I think it was Santana Moss at Miami. I can't think of any players that are walk-ons at Florida. I think, forgive me, was Chris Doring a walk-on at Florida? But guys like him that weren't able to start from day one, but you could develop them, and then for them to be really good. Now those walk-ons are playing day one at UCF. They're playing day one at FIU, playing day one at FAU, USF, and all these guys that could have been walk-ons at Florida State, and Miami, well, they're going playing from day one at all these new programs that were developing in the 90s that weren't ever a recruit. So that is what has changed since the 90s. Harold drops a good comment. Facilities on the head coach and AD. Kirby took the reins from CMR, and the AD supported him. That's how we got ahead. I guess he's a Georgia fan, I guess, with the logo. Those coaches and AD before Mullen didn't upgrade, and that got behind. Yeah, it did. Jeremy Foley didn't stay innovative and stay ahead of the game. He didn't keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. Um, it didn't happen under Muschamp, and that's one of the main reasons why Jimbo Fisher left FSU. He continued to beat the table, and he continued to say, "We need facilities, we need this, we need that," and then after so long, he just said, "F it, I'm leaving," and he went to a school that helped him get those facilities in A&M. Yeah, I understand that Florida is opening a football only facility now. It's supposed to open, I think, in March or April. I think at the latest by the end of the next summer. It'll be at the old baseball stadium. So Florida got a new baseball stadium which is now by the softball field, and basically the indoor practice facility, the outdoor practice fields, and then the old baseball field will be where all of the coaches' offices are. That is um, where the football only facility will be, and we'll see if that changes anything in recruiting. I mean, I'm sure all the coaches recruit that to all the high school recruits, but I mean it's behind. It's something that should have been done a long time ago. Yeah, Nick Saban's not leaving. You can forget about that. What's a dream scenario that can allow Mullen to succeed as Florida head coach? I am late checking in here. Sorry if you're late. So Brett, Dan Mullen, his dream scenario: one, needs to get a better DC. Two, needs to get coaches that can recruit because he's not. Dan Mullen is not a guy that's going to recruit to the level of a Nick Saban or Kirby Smart, and it's not something that's going to change for Dan Mullen. Dan Dan Mullen is who he is, and people don't change over time unless you're losing like you are now, which things will, or you're about to die. And obviously, we don't have to worry about death here. Dan Mullen, I mean, I think I pretty much hit on it. Dan Mullen's not going to change his recruiting. You have to get recruits to compete with Georgia, compete with Alabama. You need to get you need to get a different staff that can coach your defense because I mean you saw tonight the guys quit on him, uh, and you might even say that you lost the locker room because maybe your message doesn't get across the same because the way that it was portrayed today, the way the effort looked like it looked like the players didn't even care. Yeah, Joel Cole says facilities are better at Kentucky. Yeah, Shane Matthews has said this a lot, and his son who played on Florida for a couple of years, the last I think 2 or 3 years, he doesn't play on the team anymore, and he took a tour around a lot of SEC schools, and he said the vast majority of the SEC schools have better facilities than Florida. So you can take his word at that. The Chiefs OC Brett Bieniemy. I don't know if he would want to come to the college game, and I don't think that would be a good fit for Florida. Florida needs, whether it be an offensive or defensive guy, they need a guy. They need a sexy pick. They need someone that's going to clamor. That's going to. Dan Mullen is so vanilla, and I know he's tried to, wear the Halloween costume. He tries to be cool and wear the Jordans and do all this, but that doesn't feel like Dan Mullen. Florida needs someone that's good with the media, that can energize the fan base because it's different at Florida, and you're going to be on top of. Fans expect excellence, right? Or whatever your opinion is. Fans expect excellence. Expect excellence in recruiting. They expect you to compete with Georgia in the East and compete for SEC titles every single year. And if you're just joining us, I think Mel Tucker is the best option for that. Him, Joe Brady, um, Matt Campbell, Iowa State, um, Kirk Ferentz at Iowa. I don't know if I would go there, but that would be an option. Anthony drops the comment. Yeah, Dan's checked out, and I think you're right. I think he wants to be let go because he can't pull the trigger on his staff, and he's got too much commitment issues with coaches, seniors, and players. Yeah, that's on Dan Mullen. You can't. You walk a fine line with loyalty, and then drawing that line with loyalty and saying, okay, I got to do what's best for me, and whatever I got to do to win. A lot of the staff has came from Mississippi State or been with him when he was his first time at Florida, like Billy Gonzalez and a few others. You have to let go of some of those guys. You have to let go because I mean the offensive line has been consistently inconsistent this year. I mean, Florida went from running the ball just under 400 yards a game to then completely abandoning the run. I think in the first half, Florida ran the ball 10 times for 18 yards. We're talking about a Florida team that ran the ball, did whatever it wanted to in the second half against Alabama, that scored 42 points against LSU, didn't do anything against Georgia. Okay, was pretty much shut out, and then the performance tonight was just pitiful. I don't think Mark Richt's coming back. I think Mark Richt has a good TV job. I think Mark Richt, he also has his health issues. I don't even think he's going to come back to coaching anytime soon. Hugh Freeze again. I don't think Scott Strickland would hire Hugh Freeze just with the baggage. Although he could chop up some offense. That's why I don't think Florida would get a Lane Kiffin or a Hugh Freeze just with the baggage those guys come with. Again, I kind of tie this to basketball. A reason why Mike White was extended at Florida for basketball was because he wasn't in trouble with the FBI, and he's consistently taken Florida to the Sweet 16. You can agree or disagree, but that's the reason why Scott Strickland got an extension of Florida basketball. And I think Scott Strickland has the same mindset for football. Not many, he wants to keep guys that have a good head, have their head straight, don't have baggage, and don't have to worry about things outside of the program. Yeah, in your wildest dreams, Lincoln Riley. That would be a huge part. That's definitely something that's I think Florida would like to do, but I don't. And he's just getting there at Oklahoma. I mean, if he had been in Oklahoma for 10 years, maybe if that job had ran its course, but I don't think Lincoln Riley ever. I don't think he'll be leaving Oklahoma anytime soon. Tom says the Gator Nation has been talking about the Florida football program for weeks. Changes have to be made, beginning with a new DC all the way to the head coach. If he is unwilling to make these changes,